as Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. We are still, unbelievably, an Arsenal podcast. Now, it's just had the football bogging awards. I've got no idea what I was saying there. Did you actually know that ABW won the 2014 Fans' Choice Best Podcast in the World Award? We won that, and then we said no more. So, as you all know, we're always innovating in the world of podcasting, and then others steal our ideas. You know who you are, but then they do it better, so we can't really blame them. So today we're bringing you two new podcasting firsts. The first is a weather report. Let me look out the window. It's dark and it's cold. You ain't getting that anywhere else. And the second, financial advice. Live financial advice from ABW. Buy high, sell low. There you go. And I'd like to see any other Arsenal podcasts copy that, because you ain't going to be able to manage it. Well, with me today, I don't know if either of these two have got any groundbreaking podcast first they want to share with the world. First of all, it's our multi-millionaire financer. It's the Femstar. What wing of the mansion are you in at the moment? Are you still in the Carl Walker wing, or have you moved? You've moved into the Chris Carpenter sauna room.
Evening, guys. Good to be on.
Still not telling us which wing you're in, though, are you? Very clever. Very devious. Can't say.
He's got so many, he doesn't even know himself.
It's true. Can you get one of your lackeys to just find out what room you're in? I'm sure you've got air tags and all your lackeys running around the house getting stuff done, rubbing your feet and trimming your beard and stuff. It's
one day all of this will be true. One day.
Well, possibly. Going from one extreme to the other, the poorest man of ABW. He's financially poor, he's morally poor, he's work time and spare time poor. It's our very own Cactus Cash, the Egyptian legend. It's Richard. How you doing, Treacle?
I'm very well, mate. Much better after that fantastic intro and starting. That was absolutely glorious, Danny. Well done, mate.
And I make it up as I go along, which is why the first part made absolutely no sense.
Oh, I loved it. It was brilliant. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, actually. I've got a hole in the side of my belly, which I thought was a dint from my thumb, and it turns out it's not. I don't know what. It's not actually a hole, it's a dent. I don't know how it's there. I don't know how it got there. I don't know what it wants, but I wish it would go away. Yeah, we're both on the Pepsi Max tonight, so if the people from Pepsi are... I can't even hold the camera the right way around. If anyone from Pepsi is watching, you can sponsor us. I get through about 24 cans a week. I don't only get through about 10, but if they're going to sponsor us, I'm going to milk them for as many cans as possible. Hello to everybody watching on Twitter. There's actually 15 of you watching on Twitter. Be a darling, give it a retweet and a like, and share it with all your wonderful friends, family, and people you don't like. So there you go. Let's go and have a look and see who's in the chat, shall we? Chris was going to be here, but he's busy working, and then he's on the bus coming home. Paul Nell is there. Oi, oi. Oi, oi yourself. Feel free to keep us updated with the scores tonight, especially if it means Newcastle... Actually, I think we want Newcastle to win. Then that means they've got 2 more Champions League games. So come on, the Geordies. Sai is there. Michael in Sweden is there. Caden Case is there. Evening all, hope you're doing well. I think we are all doing tickety boo. Happy birthday Billy Connolly, if you're watching. My favourite person I'm not related to ever. Phil Mack is there. Evening ladies, hope you're all well. We are. Avon Not Teddington is there. Evening all. Stan the man in sunny Canada land, of which I think it is 12:14 midday. Stan, I was going to see if you wanted to come on tonight, but I thought, now that you're working, you're not going to want to. Phil saying hello to Stanley. Colin Addy, evening all. Stan says it's freezing in Vancouver. Not good. And Phil says it's freezing. Brady's Banana has decided to turn up. Very nice. Chinese arrived. Food, not invasion. Well, give it time. It could either be both. especially living in Taiwan. But we're not going to talk about that because that's politics and no one cares, and I don't know what I'm saying. Let's have a little thing. We're going to first of all, I wanted to mention a couple of notes just about life in general. Very sadly, Bob Wilson, Arsenal's double-winning goalkeeper, Scotland international, and him and his wife set up the Willow Foundation, and his wife Meg sadly passed away today, and very, very sad. Wonderful lady, wonderful organisation, wonderful man. Every Arsenal fan loves Bob Wilson, so that was very sad. And Terry Venables, nothing to do with Arsenal. Apart from, did you know Terry Venables 3 times turned down the job of the Arsenal manager after agreeing to? He agreed to it once, and they hadn't told Don Howe. He said, "Well, if you told Don Howe I'm coming," they went, "No." He said, "I'm not taking it then." Another time he agreed to take it when he came back from Barcelona, and there was a third time. This was in a book I was reading. 3 times he said he was going to be Arsenal manager, and he didn't do it. Either of you two got anything to say about Bob Wilson's wife or Terry Venables?
The Bob Wilson. Have you read his book, his autobiography? It's incredibly moving. It's a fantastic book. He talks about Anna, his daughter Anna, and Megs in that quite often. I've met him a couple of times through my links with when I worked for Arsenal, and he was like doing book signings and things like that. Like just the nicest, warmest guy I think you'd ever meet. I don't think there's any Arsenal fan, like you said, Danny, who wouldn't absolutely love Bob Wilson. It's so sad. You can tell in the book and with the stuff he did with the Willow Foundation, you could see how much him and Megs had a special relationship and just an amazing bond. And like I say, my heart goes out to him. And as for Venables, I say not an Arsenal guy, but he was obviously highly regarded in football, and I'll always thank Eltel for Euro '96, an absolutely fantastic summer. And I know it's not fashionable it's fashionable to not like international football, but I've always been a big fan of England at tournaments and stuff like that. So he made an absolutely fantastic summer for me. So yes, it's sad for both of them.
Yeah, I think that was really well said. But yeah, my parents celebrated their 41st wedding anniversary yesterday, and it's amazing thinking that how long Bob and his wife have been together and the kind of work that they've been tirelessly putting in as well. So yeah, rest in peace and condolences to all the family. But they've done a lot of good work for a lot of people as well. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. But as for Eltel, I mean, he was a legend, wasn't he? It wasn't very much liked where he's Tottenham days at Arsenal, beating us in the 91 semi-final. Was it the semi-final they beat us?
Semi-final, yeah.
They knocked us out, and they beat Nottingham Forest in the game that Gaza did his cruise ship, I want to say. That's one of my earliest memories of football. Those games, I can just about remember them. And then obviously Euro '96, which, to be fair, I mean, it was when you go back and look at it, it wasn't great. It was like, I mean, it felt great at the time, but if you go back and look at all the results and the performances, there was only that Holland game, I guess, that really, really stood out.
The Scotland game. The Scotland game was great as well. Big David Seaman's amazing penalty save, and then straight up the other end of the pitch, Gaza dentist chair. Yeah, mate, that was special. That was wicked.
Yeah,
that was wicked.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a special tournament. We haven't really. I mean, we kind of had the last Euros a little bit, the semis and the finals at Wembley, but it'll be. Let's see how it goes in there. But yeah, no, he was a legend, a good guy. I've never really heard anything. I mean, obviously there was things that was said about him, but for me, it was just like, oh, once he became England manager, it was like, okay, cool, this guy's all right. Wash away the Tottenham stuff away from him. But yeah, no, rest in peace to him, and condolences to his family as well.
His record as England manager from 94 to 96, played 23, won 11, drew 11, lost 1. Not bad, is it? Compared to the
he took over. He took over, like, so we were. Sorry, Danny, go on.
That's to say, Southgate's lost 14 games.
He took. We were England were awful when he took over. Like, so we crashed out in '92 with the Euros, like, pitifully, and then didn't even make USA '94. We were that bad. So he did well to turn things around and change up. To try and change and implement something different than the old boring, rigid 4-4-2. By all accounts, I'm interested to hear Gary Lineker's thing on the rest of his football about, because he played under him at Barcelona. But from what I hear, he was for an Englishman, he was tactically years ahead of his time.
And it's so annoying that he wanted a contract extension at the end of where did I read it? In December 1995, but the FA insisted on re-evaluating England's performances in competitive fixtures before deciding on his future. In May '96, Glenn Hoddle was announced as his successor. That's because the FA do not like people that are their own people. They just want yes men, and he wasn't a yes man. He was El Tel. He was the bronze legend, and so they got rid of him. And God knows where England would have gone on to with that crop of players if they wouldn't have idiots like Glenn Hoddle, who was shameful. Then after Glenn Hoddle, you had Howard Wilkinson for a game, and Kevin Keegan was a nightmare. And then Howard Wilkinson, caretaker, and Peter Taylor, caretaker. Then Sven-Goran Eriksson. Well, I suppose he was okay. 3 quarterfinals. And Steve McLaren, was another clown. And Capello, which was failure. Stuart Pearce, caretaker. Roy Hodgson was just uninspiring. Allardyce played 1-1-1. Don't know, we can't really say much about him now. We've got the current clown, who I think the current clown is going to do much like Glenn Hoddle did. He's going to have an entire group of magnificent players, probably the best ever, and do nothing. I mean, when you've got Jude Bellingham and you've got Saka in your side, you should be winning everything, shouldn't you?
I think Southgate's done well in the main, in the sense of, you think that England had never got to, since '66 we hadn't got to a final before, and he's got us to semi-finals and a final and stuff like that. And I think he's definitely changed. I think he's changed the culture around the team, and his record in competitive games and stuff like that is very, very good. What I would say is now he's kind of like, he's been in there too long now.
7 years.
Yeah, he's been in there too long. He's not evolved the things that he's doing, and then like he's now like entrenched in his own favourites and his own bits and bobs that he's doing. Things like consistently picking Harry Maguire, consistently picking Henderson, saying, "Oh yeah, we want to improve, and you've got to play minutes." I think he said that about Ramsdale. I think we'll touch on later. Oh, he's got to be playing minutes, but yet Calvin Phillips can be doing absolutely sod all. Like, I think he's collectively, I think he played like 19 minutes or some ridiculous amount of time, but he gets into every goddamn squad. You've got Harry Kane playing in every single game, and no other striker gets a look in. And I'm not saying that anyone's better than Kane or Kane's thing, but what if Kane gets injured tomorrow and you've got a host of strikers? None of them have played competitively. None of them have played in with the team. So it's just little things like that I think has spoilt Southgate towards the end. But the less said about him, the better, to be honest.
You mentioned Calvin, not Harris. What did you say? Calvin Phillips. Do you want him at the Arsenal? Because there's rumours that in January he's going to leave Man City, and that we're possibly in for him.
Someone asked me that one yesterday. He was good. He was good at Leeds, but I mean, he was, apart from being always injured as well. That was another thing. He was always injured when he played regularly. So maybe he's only fit because he's not playing regularly. So do we want to sign another player who with that kind of injury record is the question. I think it's going to be interesting. I've got a feeling that Partey won't be long for Arsenal in January from all the noise that's coming out, because there's no way. I was listening to Arteta's press conference today. He was saying that he thinks Partey and Emile Smith-Rowe will be fit this side of Christmas or this side of the new year. And why would we then need another midfielder in January unless they're just thinking, "I'll just get rid of this guy as soon as he's fit"? Well, saying that, he is kind of he's leaving. He's going to African nations in January as well, isn't he? So it's all up in the air really with that midfield, but we definitely have to do something. Oh my goodness me, Newcastle scored. Yeah, it's all up in the air.
I got a tweet here from Arteta's Revenge. I just tried to get different tweets from different people. They're all doing the same stories. Arteta was asked if ESR and or Partey would be back before January. Quote, "It is a possibility. Emile has already been on the pitch doing some jogging. He's a quick healer. Thomas the same. We need them back at their best." And that's a quote from Mikel.
And then he followed up with, "But we need them back fully fit." So we're not going to rush them. That was the last part of the message that he gave. So I wouldn't expect to see them during the busy Christmas period. But it's a bit weird because we're kind of running out of players when you think about it, because we're going to have to play the same players over and over again, especially in that midfield with Smith-Rowe, Partey, and Vieira all out in midfield. It's a bit of an issue, isn't it?
It is. Looking at Calvin Phillips, this is quite surprising. He's going to be 28 in December. Wow. He's 31 games for England and 1 goal, and he signed for Man City for 42 million in July 22, and 1.5 years later he's played 16 Premier League games, 4 this season, 12 last season. Yeah, I don't think it would be a good move. Anyone else want it?
No, yeah, I agree with what Femi's saying in the sense of like that injury record. Let's say even at Leeds when he was, let's say, playing record, it would scare the bejesus out of me. It's another Partey, but someone not as good. And I say he's 28 as well. English, you got to put that English tax on it as well, like the how much money it's going to cost him to what's called, not unless Arteta's got some can pull some strings with some contacts in City, but I just think for the injury record, the money it will cost, and I don't think that will happen. I'd be surprised if that happens.
His last 2 seasons with Leeds in the Premier League, he missed 27 games over 2 seasons, which isn't good. I mean, I'm not looking at the number of games that he played that he came on as a sub, but it does say that he missed all of those. Anyway, let's move on a little bit to the very uninspiring game. Femi, did you see the Brentford game live or highlights?
I did. I watched it live.
Me too. I actually remembered.
It was the last game on Match of the Day, which says a lot.
Weren't you? Someone was complaining that they wanted to go to bed, but was it you?
It was me. I wanted to go to bed. And it just Match of the Day just kept going on and on and on. And yeah, it was the last game. It was on like at 11:30 in the night.
Ramsdale in goal. We'll talk about that a little bit. Tomiyasu, it wasn't until half-time I realised Ben White wasn't even playing. Tomiyasu right back, Gabriel and Saliba centre back, Zinchenko left back, Reiss in the holding role, Trossard and Odegaard in the left and right 8, Saka right, Martinelli left, and Jesus up front. What was your thoughts on the lineup and the final result and how they all played? Because I was bored shitless for most of it, like I am for nearly every game we play this season.
Yeah, this was a bit of a struggle. To be fair to Arsenal, I think it's not all Arsenal's fault. I think, again, in the press conference today, there were a lot of questions about this. And Mikel's general thing is probably makes sense. He says it's all about game state, that last season, a lot of our early goals does open up the games, whereas this season, we're just not scoring. We're not scoring enough goals, but we're not scoring early goals is a major issue. And we just don't look threatening from open play. But again, we're basically playing a game. Did you see his analogy today? He said basically, if you're driving, I don't know, he didn't mention a car, but say you're driving a Lamborghini and you're driving it in London in traffic and there's loads of buses and bus lanes. He says, of course, it's going to take you longer to navigate it, isn't it? So he gave a good
analogy.
Yeah. And he said, basically, we're just playing against teams that they don't even defend in their half. Brentford defended in their box for nearly the whole 90 minutes. Like in their penalty area, they did not. To be fair, the first half, I was really impressed with them because I was like, how are Brentford closing us down in one end? And literally, as soon as we get the ball, they seem to have like a deep block already. And I was like, how is it possible? I was like, they're the first team that I've seen do that. Usually teams just let us have the ball at the back, don't press us. But as soon as we had a goal kick, they were pressing us. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. And I think we'll probably come onto it, but it kind of nearly worked a couple of times. We can probably go on to that because that was probably the main highlight of that first half was the craziness that was going on at the back.
It was definitely had a game plan. Rich, what was your thoughts on what you saw?
Well, I didn't see the game live. My girls had an away.
You got the moral victory with that one.
Yeah, I think so. I think I dodged a bullet. My girls had an away game in the league, so I was, off travelling and stuff like that. No, we lost 2-1. We lost. We played the league leaders. So to digress, we played the league leaders the second time we played them, and in 70 minutes, 140 minutes over 2 games, they've led for a combined time of 6 minutes. First game of the season, they beat us 2-1. They scored in the last 4 minutes, and then on Saturday they scored in the last 2 minutes. I was gutted for my girls.
It's just like the Man United stat, isn't it? That they've only been leading games for the bottom in the number of minutes spent leading a game. I think
it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, go on, carry on. So your thoughts on the game and
So it was like when I saw the fixture, the team lineup. I mean, I was initially quite surprised that Gabriel Jesus was starting, considering you'd probably even throw in like Martinelli and stuff like that as well, in the sense of how that trip back from Brazil, especially as he technically wasn't fit kind of thing, and played I think he played the full 90 against Argentina as well. So I was quite surprised that he started that game. But I looked at it and I thought, oh, okay, this is not bad. This is, I could see the thought process of what they're trying to do, and I liked the FIFA idea of trying to get all your best players onto the pitch all at the same time. I was fine with it and stuff like that. And I saw, I was kind of watched a little bit of it on my phone, but obviously cutting in and out as I'm traveling and stuff like that. So I can see loads of it. It seemed like, like I said, like Brentford were working incredibly hard and were able to transition really, really well against us, like defensively. I get and I understand what you mean where you say like this season's games have been boring, and I've seen like lots of the discussion about with Jamie Carragher and stuff like that, and on Sky and stuff like that about we're not scoring as much and things like that. I think there's a lot of soft factors that all combine into that of what's happening. The fact that our offensive injury record and team cohesion has not been great, but mainly I think that you look at the way teams are defending against us. Like last season, we were, especially in the first part of the season, we were a surprise. We were surprised the Arsenal were a surprise to us Arsenal fans, let alone for other teams. And I think we kind of caught teams off guard. Like I said, we scored early and stuff like that. Now teams aren't letting us do that. I think Bukayo Saka spoke on the weekend about how he's constantly doubled up now. Same for Gabby as well, like constantly doubled up. But I'm thankful in the fact that we got the goal in the end and we got the win. We might not be clicking offensively as well as we would like, but yet we're now top of the league, and we're still in fighting for the title and fighting at the top of the league. So I'm not as down as maybe some people would be about it.
Did you hear about one of the Brazilian players that came back from the I think it was Klopp that was saying it, that one of his players was falling asleep during team meetings. It's really weird, that a lot of players, hopefully with the South American qualifiers a little bit calmer now, it won't be like that in the next March international breaks. They're resuming the qualifiers in September, I think, but they played a lot of games and really weird times. Obviously, the time difference thing as well. It was just relentless for them, and they're playing like highly competitive games. A lot of the European ones, the groups were kind of already done.
Yeah, well, Brazil have been like quite poor by their lofty standards. So that's why I think that they were so desperate for Jesus to play, and why they didn't listen to Arsenal's medical team and took him. And that's also again why he played the full 90. I think that's like the first. Is that like the first home qualifier they've lost in like 50 odd years, or probably even more, something like silly like that? I can't remember what the stat was.
It was 65 games. They've never lost at home in one.
Yeah, so it's like you could tell how bad they're doing, and their massive injury crisis. I think they've lost Neymar, they've lost is it Vinicius Junior? They've lost Richarlison to his boner problem, whatever it was.
The managerial situation is an absolute nightmare, because Ancelotti is meant to be going as the new manager, hasn't agreed a deal, and then Tete, who was manager of my Corinthians, he went in there, did a decent job. He's now gone. Not sure where he's gone, but then they got some other bloke in, and then he's only had a few games. They've lost 3 in a row, and then their next game isn't until September next year. That's according to AC Jimbo. Oh, fucking hell, that hurts. Oh.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's so I say I can see why, like I said, the players were played as much as they were, but it's just I think like I said, with the Brentford game, I just think, let's say, teams are so fearful of us these days. They're so scared of what we can do, and how we can hurt us. And then, like I said, the fact that Martinelli's had that injury break, Saka's even been injured, been playing red. Gabriel's been injured. Odegaard's been injured. You've taken out a massive cog in our successful team offensively. Like, you look at the amount of goals and assists that Xhaka got into that team, that cog has been removed, and we still haven't worked out what's going on there. Is it Havertz? Is it Reiss in there with Jorginho, or was supposed to be Partey, who was another facilitator of how we played offensively? All those cogs have kind of come away. So it's quite it's not the biggest mystery of why we haven't clicked offensively yet, but yeah, like I said, I'm not as down about it as say maybe other people. Like I say, sometimes they say you've got to win ugly. That's the stuff of champions. You win ugly, you win scrappy 1-0s. Look at Man City last season. Everyone was saying, round about this time, or maybe it might have been a little bit before, has Haaland made them a worse team? They haven't clicked. They didn't look their usual selves. It is slightly ominous that they look much more settled and are purring along, kind of thing. But we're top of the league. We're getting the what's called rare. We should still really be undefeated if it wasn't for that lousy goal that Newcastle were gifted. So yeah, like I say, I'm a bit more positive than others.
But doesn't it say a lot about our standards, though, that even if I reckon even if we were still unbeaten, I think people would still be complaining about the way that we're playing. That I think that's a testament, actually. Not. I mean, like I always say, it's good to if I can take each individual game and say what I liked and didn't like, and I don't think that should be a mark on me being negative or anything like that. You can. That's what we do as football fans. It's always been what we do. We look at a game and we say what we liked and what we didn't like about it. It's not that you hate it, but Arteta set a much higher bar, much higher standard than we had a couple of years ago, when we're finishing 8th, so I think that's a really big testament to him, that even if we're top of the league, and it doesn't feel like we're top of the league, does it? It just feels like we're just ticking along, and it just feels like we're just ticking along, and it's just, but that's literally, if I told you 2 years ago, Arsenal would be top of the league after 13 games, you would have said, whatever. But we kind of just expect it now. Exactly, yeah. But he's done a really, really good job, This game was just, back to the game, it was just a really, really, the second half I think was really bad. We had that disallowed goal, didn't we, which was such a strange goal, and I just think all these offside rules, it was Trossard, but Jesus should have buried it.
Nearly kill himself at the same time.
Yeah, Jesus should have buried that. But these offside laws are just so pedantic and old school, aren't they? They're so, like you need to be behind the ball, but he literally was gaining no advantage. There was no Brentford player anywhere near him. So basically, it's just a luck of the draw for Brentford, because there was just no one there to even stop it, and it's such a narrow margin, and I'd really love to know where they go with the offside law in the future, because something needs to be a little bit different about it. It just favors defenders and defensive teams more, where we want to promote goals in the game, don't we?
We do. Little score update for you at the moment. Man City are losing 2-0 at home to Red Bull Leipzig, with 2 goals from Belgian striker Lois Openda. He's only just signed for Leipzig for 46 million quid. 46 million euros. He's got 9 in 12 in the Bundesliga, and he's now got 13 in 19 in the league. So I expect Man City to buy him at half time. He's only 5'10", so he's
Chelsea need more play.
Well, they do indeed. What else are we going to look at? So Man City are losing. Barcelona are 1-1. Milan are 1-1 with Dortmund. Newcastle are winning 1-0 at PSG. So there you go. Right, let's have a little. Just talk about the goal, Rich. Now, for a bloke who's 9'5", like our very own Mr. Walker, for Kai to be there after, he scored. What minute did he come on in? He came on in the 79th minute, and within 10 minutes he scored his first proper goal of the season. So with an assist from Saka. This is a strange one. Out of the 10 outfield players who were on the pitch at the time, 9 of them managed to get a shot at goal. The only one who didn't was Saka. Every single one of them all got a shot at goal. We had 15 shots at goal, but only had 4 on target, and Jesus got 2 of those on target. Yeah, so talk to us about the goal, because I was not expecting that.
Well, it was a delicious ball from Bukayo. He's so good at that. Drifting back onto his left foot, and it's not even like a whipped ball. It's that lofted kind of curly thing right into the back, into that danger zone, into the zone of uncertainty and stuff like that. But that's what we kind of have been expecting from Havertz. Arriving in that box a little bit later, getting on the back stick and coming onto things and scoring those goals. So it was almost like when it went in, it was almost kind of like after the celebration, you kind of think, finally, that's what it is. That's what he's there for. That's what we all thought it was going to the kind of goal it was going to be. But it was, let's say, a wonderful cross and really, really well taken. Sometimes in football, those can be quite difficult. Those ones where it takes a bit of time to arrive to you, and you have a little bit too much time to think. You can, rather than being a little bit more instinctive, you second guess yourself. Are you gonna stick it up? Are you gonna head it into the ground? You can get yourself into a muddle sometimes. But yeah, as I say, it was exactly what I think we really bought Kai Havertz for, and something that I think that he should be able to do more of. And hopefully you can see in the celebrations, much more vociferous than the somewhat sheepish ones where he was given the penalty at Bournemouth. So I was very happy for him, very happy for us. Hopefully now it can kicks his confidence in gear and stuff like that, and we can start seeing more of that tactic. Because if you have that as your tactic, and you have that as another tool in your arsenal, it will give defenders something different to think about, in the sense of someone they might have to drop that little bit deeper, which will then relieve a little bit of pressing space for someone like Havertz, for someone like Declan Reiss, or even Bukayo or Martinelli on the edges and on the fringe kind of thing. I can see that what's called that. Havertz, is it B Gunner 81? Only Havertz scoring a winner could have changed the whole mood and atmosphere, and it really did. And I was glad that he got his the fans were in fine voice at the end of it, and we're singing his name lustily. It was, yeah. I'm so pleased for him. Because I really want him to succeed. Almost for Arteta, he kind of has to succeed. The amount of money that we've spent on him, kind of thing. But I say long may it continue.
Someone's just put a team sheet on for the game. Bromley against someone else in the Senior Cup. Dartford v Bromley, and playing for Dartford you have a Charlie Sheringham, which is Teddy Sheringham's son, and playing for Bromley is Mitchell Bergkamp. I think he may be a nephew of the Bergkamp. I'm not sure, which is I thought I'd share with you. Right, something I was going to bring up, Femi. Noza says, should Havertz be our super sub? And I'll add to that, is he capable of being a super sub, and will he be happy with that?
I think we have to make it work from the start, especially right now where Partey is out, not playing. I think the missing position is that number 8 position, and he just has to try and make it his own. He has to push on. He scored a goal for Germany last week from left back. He scored a goal for us this week. So maybe finally, he's that Chelsea cobweb is coming off of him, and he's gonna just pick up form somehow. But I think it just has to work at that left 8 position, especially like we were saying, with the lack of midfielders, we can't afford for him not to work. Because for me, I didn't think the experiment of Trossard playing there was that great. He lacks a lot of physicality, and Brentford were kind of running over him sometimes. Yeah, and it's not very creative as well. But yeah, I think for now, especially that Partey's out, it just kind of has to work, doesn't it? We have to make it work. We have to get something out of him. We don't need him to be a super sub. We can have other players that can do that. We can have the Trossard and Eddie, even though he doesn't score from a substitution, from being a sub. We need a £60 million player to be kind of firing, and that would, if he starts firing with the way Reiss plays at 6, that kind of sorts out a lot of our midfield, and they've got a lot of game time left in them. He hasn't played tons of games, has he? So he's got a lot of games in his legs to go.
Yes, I agree. Right, that was Arteta's 200th game as manager of the Arsenal. He looks old in that picture. That's done him dirty. 115 wins, 34 draws, 50 defeats. That's a 25% loss rate. Thank you very much. Arsenal managers, number of wins in their first 200 games. Now, they've done this. They have done this in absolutely no order. It goes Arteta, Wenger, me, Alisson, but they don't do them in number order. Now, why the hell you would do that? Either chronological order, or have they done it in alphabetical? They've not even done it in chronological.
No, I thought that was alphabetical, but it's not. Me's thrown in there for...
It's bullshit is what it is. Right, so I'm going to have to do some brain work here. So, after 200 games... First place, Mikel Arteta with 115 wins, Arsene Wenger with 111 wins, the mighty George Graham 107 wins, and the next one is Tom Whittaker with 98, George Allison 96, 88 by Herbert Chapman, 84 by Bertie Mee, and then it's going to be 71 by Leslie Knighton. I think he used to play a character in EastEnders. And finally, George Morel with 62. What do you make of that, Rich?
That's impressive, to be fair. I mean, like I said, I think he's a little bit in the sense of the amount of his losses are a lot more than Arsene's. I think Arsene drew a fair few more games than Mikel lost, kind of thing. But I would say stat padding it's impressive considering like how absolute dog shit we were when he took over, and what an absolute mess Mikel walked into, with this weird, bloated, messed up. What did you used to call him, Danny? The Bundesliga bastards?
That's it. I think I've still got the banner on that. I'm going to go and find it while you can.
Yeah, so like, he inherited the Bundesliga bastard. The whole infighting mess with Gazidis, who I never liked, Gazidis and Sven Mislintat and Rouse and Yehi and all that sort of nonsense and things like that. You can only be impressed by what he's done. That's a ship. You can only be impressed with the turnaround that he's done. I'm sure he still has his detractors, and he hasn't done everything perfect, and there are things that I wish he had done differently, and there are maybe some things that are slightly unlikable about him or whatnot. But I think he's, in the most part, I think he's done well. Like I said, considering as Femi said a couple of not that long ago when he said a couple of seasons ago when he took over from Emery Ball, and we were fucking losing at Watford and stuff like that. If you had said a couple of years later, we're going to come second, challenging the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Money manipulated team in footballing history, running them a close second, and then the season after that, continuing what we're doing and still, top of the league. I think people would have called you crazy. So he's done a massive amount of goodwill, change the culture around the squad and the club and the team, and got the fans on side, and got Highbury at the Emirates up and singing and stuff like that. So he's done a lot to be commended for. Like I said, not perfect, and I'm sure that there are things that sticks we could beat him with, but for the most part, he's done phenomenal.
What do you think?
I'm watching highlights of the Lazio game against Celtic earlier, and there's a big-haired guy playing in midfield. Do you remember him?
Oh, Guendouzi's gone there.
This is the type of player that that Arteta inherited. The players that were ill-disciplined and going out clubbing and doing all sorts in the clubs. That's kind of atmosphere that he inherited. So he's done a magnificent job. The only thing with that win ratio is I'd love to know if you took out the Europa League out of that, what the win. Padding. Yeah, because Arsene Wenger wouldn't have had the pleasure of the Europa League teams. Neither would George Graham have that pleasure as well of playing Europa League. I don't even know if Georgie played Europe the first couple of seasons. So the first few...
No, we were banned.
we were banned, weren't we? Yeah. So a lot of his games would have been league, kind of games as well. So it's. I mean, he's done a good job. Is the bottom line. He's restored a lot of belief back in the club. The lows that we were when he took over, it was amazing. And pandemic did help him in a way as well, because it helped him figure out some stuff, especially
the water breaks.
Yeah, and that crazy run that we went on where we were just losing every single game. Imagine that was with fans in the stadium. There's no way he would have survived. So that was like a little blessing and a curse at the time. But I like him, but I want to ask you a question. How many do you think he'll reach another 200 games? Because it's quite rare for managers to stay that long. I mean, Klopp and Pep have been at City and Liverpool quite long, actually, longer than I thought they would be. He's like, this is his first job and everything. Obviously, he loves Arsenal. Do you think he's got another 200 games left in him or more? Because 400 games is another 4 odd years. That's a long time for that would be 8 years of his first managerial job at one club. It's very rare that you would find that. Obviously, that's with things going well. Do you think he would stay another 4 years?
I'm just looking at the most number of games by Premier League managers. So no, that's going in the wrong direction. Martin O'Neill, 10th most number of Premier League games managed. Martin O'Neill, 359. Mourinho, 363. Hodgson, 382. And then, so 382. And then it's Mark Hughes with 466. So if he is going to make 400 games, that will put him into 8th place in the most number of Premier League games managed by a Premier League manager. Rich, what do you think?
I think it all kind of. I think the big thing would be what happens at Barcelona. I don't know why, but I just the Barcelona. You got he was at their academy and stuff like that. Barcelona thing. I just if that wasn't a complete and utter shit show, like finance wise and stuff like that, and they had their act together, I think that would be possibly one of the few teams that would be, I think, that would be able to tempt him away. I don't know if Man City, if Pep left, like I say, he'd been there before, he would have that absolute, not just the amount of money, but for whatever, like I say, we can moan about them and their money laundering and state funded nonsense that they do. They are a technically well-run club for the most part, and I don't think that would appeal to him. I genuinely don't know. That question, I know it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but I genuinely don't know. I'd like to think that he would stay. I think he would like to see what he's building to some sort of fruition and some sort of completion. And I think winning a major trophy would be it, kind of thing. And I think he would. There's a bit of me that thinks he'd be quite dogmatic and would want to stick it out. But obviously, the higher ups at the club absolutely love what he's doing. So I don't think he's gonna, touch wood, get fired or anything like that. So I think it's purely down to his decision and his wants and his mission statement and his project that he's looking to build. I almost kind of, I think, I'm hedging towards, I think he would stay. What about you, Danny?
There's, like you were saying, there's so many factors can come into this. I would hope that he would, but he is gonna. The owners have given him what he wants, and I don't think they're going to keep throwing money at it if Man City keep dominating. And we're back top of the league again, and it's going to be if we can keep him happy. And he's a very ambitious man, and I think he has a career plan in his head. Leave Arsenal as a player, go to Man City, be a coach, come to Arsenal, be a manager, And I doubt very much that he's going to stay at Arsenal for his entire career. So it's a matter of what jobs become available. I wouldn't be surprised if he did go to Man City, much like if Saka's going to leave and Martinelli's going to leave, unless we're winning titles. And I think that's the deciding factor. And then you've got to take into 115 charges FC, whether anything's going to be done about that. And there's so many parameters to it all. So I'd hope he does, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. I'm just looking. The managers had the most Premier League jobs. Sam Allardyce with 9, Hodgson 7, Hughes with 6.
How Mark Hughes kept on wrangling and people kept employing that guy, I will never, ever, ever know. What a terrible manager.
And I've got a list here of finally on Wikipedia, the most games managed in the Premier League. First is Wenger, 828. Ferguson, 810. David Moyes, 671. Harry Redknapp, 641. Not had a job there for the last 8 years. Sam Allardyce, 541. And then you have to go all the way down to 17th. Is not there, so he's not in the top 17 on 200. There was something else.
But is that league games though? So his 200 wouldn't just be league games, would it? So
no, because his league games is going to be 75% of that. I'd have thought.
Yeah.
So he's probably 125, 130, something like that. So right. I've got a little quiz for you. People at home on the bus, having a poo, walking the dog, doing the washing up, or loading or watching somebody load the dishwasher, which is what Karl is doing. Another little quiz for you two. Did you a little quiz last time? You were terrible at it. You're going to get one.
Femi beat me last time.
I want Arteta's first ever starting 11. Richard can go first because he looks the underdog. You get 1 point if you get the player at the starting 11, and you get a bonus point if you can tell me where they are now. So, Rich, you go first.
I'm going to say any player from the starting 11. I'm going to say 11. Reiss Nelson started the game, didn't he?
So Rich gets a point for that.
He's still at the club.
Where is he now? Still at the club.
Still at the club.
Femi, and if you Femi goes next, 10 to pick from.
Bernd Leno.
Okay.
He's at Fulham.
Okie dokie. I see what we're doing here, Rich.
I'm going to say Torreira. And is he at Galatasaray?
Bing and bong, sir. Femi, you'll go.
Bukayo Saka at Arsenal.
Yes, and he played left back.
He played left back, yeah, because we had no players.
Wrong. I'm gonna say. He's
doing a bing bong and a diddle-a-da. He's struggling off the phone.
I'm struggling. No, because I want to say I think the Conservative played Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Okay, is that what you're going for?
That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Ding ding ding. Where is he now?
Fuck. Where is he now? Is he Leon?
Bonjour, senor. He is indeed. Right, Femi, you'll go.
You're going to have to go for one of these two funny strikers. I reckon Lacazette played at Lyon.
Well done, certainly is. Yeah. Rich?
Aubameyang, is he at Marseille?
Bing bong. Lovely. Yeah. Femi?
Okay, so we've got our front three. We've got Aubameyang. Granit Xhaka, was he back by then? Did he bring him?
It was the 27th of December, 2000.
Probably suspended.
Just before the before times. Just at the end of the before times.
Let me say Granit Xhaka.
Okay.
Leverkusen.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
well done. Right,
brought
so
him
that
back
is
from the fold, back into the fold.
Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a wet nose of a cat. Scared the bloody bejeebers out of me. Rich, we have done 8 players. There's 3 to go.
Mate, I haven't got a Scooby where they're playing.
2 centre backs and an attacking midfielder.
Yeah. Attacking midfielder. Was Socrates one of the players, the defenders?
Oh, very good, sir. Where is he now?
This is where I'm going to fall short. I have no idea where he went to.
I know where he is now. I know where he is now.
Well, don't say it. You can get points at it.
Shit. Can I get a clue of where he is?
Hector.
Oh yes.
Is he somewhere in Spain? Is he at Betis?
Hey, well done. Sneak team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he just signed for them.
He did on a free transfer.
So
we've got two more to go.
Idea now. So now I'm guessing in the wind. David Luiz.
Oh, here we go. Where is he though?
Surely in a bath chair.
He's playing in Brazil. Is he back at? I don't know. Is it Luiz though?
It is Luiz. Yes.
It is Luiz.
Yeah.
Oh right.
So where is he? He is playing in Brazil.
Flamengo.
Oh, he's pulled it out. Richard, it's got the
Fuck off, man.
Do you want me to tell you the truth? How I got that? I'm watching Leipzig against Man City on my screen, and they play in that Flamengo colour, and I can't think of any other Brazilian team that would have come on my mind if it wasn't for Leipzig on my screen.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh.
So, down to Richard, because it's one player to go. The only
Femi,
one
I hate you.
who you can only get 1 point for this player, no matter what you do.
And is that because he's retired?
Oh.
Or he's not got a club? Did you say it's easy?
No, I'm not telling you. I'm not giving you any more clues because this is the decider. See if you're going to get it or Femi's going to get it, because I bet Femi knows.
So hang on. So let's have a think about this. So we've got Leno in goal. The Conservative. What position have we got left?
Can't tell you. Not as it's the last one. It's the decider.
Hang on.
Can't give you any information.
Hang on. So the Conservative. It's the left back. It's got to be the left back.
Not saying.
No, because Saka was the left back.
Yeah.
Saka played left back in that game. Balls. Okay. Right. So we got the Conservative, Socrates, Luiz, Bellerin.
He's got one more than me, as in he's got one more chance. So there's got to be a time limit on this. Because it's 11. It's not.
Look how competitive he is as well.
You got 30 seconds.
I'm not going to get the player. I yield
absolutely
to Mesut Ozil, mate.
Mesut fucking Ozil.
And who was it who earlier in the show was asking about these certain people? It was you, Rich.
Yeah.
And he was the king of the Bundesliga bastards.
Yeah, because remember he threw his gloves down when he was playing for Freddie Ljungberg, didn't he? And Freddie Ljungberg just kicked all of them out of the team for the Everton game when it was Freddie Ljungberg's last game, and he kicked them all out, and he kicked Ozil out as well. And then Arteta kind of brought them in, brought Xhaka back in for that game.
I'm so annoyed about that.
So Richard bowled first and still lost.
Yeah, sad days.
Oh dear. What a world we live in. So that's back-to-back wins in the competitions now for Femi. So there is no trophy because we don't do trophies. So there you go, people. Then there's the line-up on the screen.
See, look at that Flamengo badge. It looks exactly like the Leipzig kit.
Does indeed. Great days. Great days.
Do I not get points for remembering that Saka played left back?
No, because you then said Bellerin played right back.
Sad days.
Even though we said
No, I didn't. I had the Conservatives.
What is that?
And then after you said right back Bellerin.
On Ozil's name, it looks like a pirate ship.
It is. Right, what other things? Just going to tidy up some of my little bits here that I've got. And we've got the 200. Delete that. Delete this one. There's a picture of me and Sean when we went out on Friday. I was wrapped up like a Christmas turkey. £25 in a coffee shop. Robbing fuckers. and then me outside freezing my arse off in Huntingdon. I didn't get stabbed or attacked by a junkie, which is quite strange for there. Let's bring a little bit of light into everybody's lives. What does this? It's a picture of Sir Lord Ian Wright of Islington, MBE, OBE, CBE, KGB. He's getting an award there. Our very own Karl tweeted this earlier in the day, so I've had a look. And he was appointed the Officer of the British Empire, an OBE, in the Queen's 23rd birthday honours services for charity. Now, I don't know if it's that one, or on the 1st of November, which I think it might be, Freeman of the City of London, in recognition of his sporting achievements, and I'm going to add, also being fucking amazing. Look at that. Look at him. What a lovely little man. What's your thoughts when you see that, Femi? Does it warm the cockles of your we all know, your cold, dead heart?
Yeah, I mean, his video the other day warmed everything. It was amazing, the one that Gary Lineker took of him kissing the screen and hugging the screen. I showed that to my children. They're like, how did he hug the screen?
They don't understand the magic of TV.
He did it really well, didn't he?
I've not seen
but
it.
he was doing that. I've seen it. I'm sure I put it in the group, but yeah, it was.
I don't watch TV.
Really, really great video when Havertz scored and he was going crazy as usual in the Match of the Day studio. But I love him. He's so authentically him as well, isn't he? He's just him. He's just himself. He loves Arsenal, and everywhere he goes, he will tell them, "I love Arsenal. I love Arsenal." But I love that. I wish more of our ex-players were just like that. I love them. Like, he speaks when he needs to speak. He does a lot of good work all over the place, in prison, for women's football. He does so much for the game and so much for other people. He's so selfless, while being himself, and absolutely love it for Raya. He deserves every single success that he gets. Such a great player as well, man. Such a great player. Like, so many people support Arsenal because of Ian Wright. So many people moved to support Arsenal as soon as he left Palace to come to Arsenal. I went to a dinner, actually, funny enough, with Darren Brent 2 Tuesdays ago.
Did you tell him that I live in God Manchester and he used to play for them? But you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't. No. I asked him a different question. I asked him a question about Eddie Nketiah and Jermaine Defoe, which I've got a video for his answer, actually. So he was telling me that he actually, so he played for Tottenham and he supports Arsenal. He's always banging on about it on TalkSport on his show.
Yeah.
He said the reason why he supported Arsenal, all his family supported different teams, Liverpool and whatnot. He said he supported Arsenal because he was playing up front as a child and his favourite player was Ian Wright. And he was just about to go and play for... he was just about to support... he's gonna support Crystal Palace. But then he moved to Arsenal just as he was about to support Palace. And he followed Righty to support Arsenal, and he never looked back since then. So a lot of people will tell you that story, that they support Arsenal because of Ian Wright, and then the next generation might be a Thierry Henry or a Cesc Fabregas. It's always that one player in a generation that draws new fans. Like, all my children support Arsenal now because of Bukayo Saka.
Won't have anything less.
Yeah, because of Bukayo Saka. They love.
Have you got any other family members that support other teams? Did you have to indoctrinate the kids quickly? Because I took Sean to her first ever game when she was about 5 months old, because all the rest of the family were all Spurs. So me, Sean, and my mum took her to the game, and then as soon as the game kicked off, my mum took her back to the car, baptised her in the world of Arsenalism. So have you got any issues with that? Any other family members?
Not immediate family. I've got like cousins and stuff that support. I've got a season ticket holder at Tottenham. That's a cousin. I actually got him a Tottenham scarf, believe it or not, the other day.
Because Femi's he's a very mysterious character. None of us know anything about him. We don't know if he's got... I only just found out earlier in the show that he's got parents. I had no idea. We don't know if he's got brothers or sisters. We've been privileged to see pictures of his kids, but that took 4 or 5 years. I chuck
All
pictures
we
of
know
my
is that
kids
he's
all
got
over.
7 wings in his house. That's the only thing we do know for certain.
I mean, I'm putting pictures of Sian all over the place and trying to marry her off. I mean, she's 25 now. She's getting on. She's almost going to have to put one of those yellow stickers on her saying reduced price. Oh, dear. How about you, Rich?
So, I mean, my older brothers and that, there's about 11, 13 years difference between me and my older
I thought you
brothers.
were going to say you've got 11 brothers.
Yeah, no. Four older brothers, one older sister, and one younger sister. And the older siblings, they all
So you're one of
grew up
7?
in the... Yeah, one of... Did I get the math wrong on there? I'm one of... what was that, 4? 6.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I've only got one and he died. Fuck's sake. Greedy fuckers. Go on, carry on.
So my older brothers and that, they're all Liverpool fans. They grew up in that era of Liverpool being successful. I became an Arsenal fan because of my mum. My mum was a massive gooner. But I know what Femi means in the sense that, you know, you get that one player who is your guy, and that's you gravitate to, and that's what your what's it called is. It's my one back in the day was Paul Merson. I've always got a soft spot for Merce, because he was like I say, he was the magic man. He was a flair player in in absolute torrid mud flat pitches and stuff like that, and he could still do something absolutely magical with the outside of his boot on those high tech football boots that he used to wear. So yeah, you get that that connection. You find that player, and that's what Ian Wright is for so many people, and it's so understandable why he was. And I really hope that. I know people, there's recency bias and stuff like that, and there's a tendency to not rate the people who come before him. But, he was an astonishing football player, not just a great goal scorer, but a goal scorer of great goals. And I'm so glad that he is in retirement and in his second career as a pundit and a advocate for the women's game and stuff like that. Like I said, he is such a wonderful human being as well, which makes it obviously all the more easy to and likable. Because you've got the stuff where celebrating like crazy and stuff like that. But the other things I like about Wright is he's not a... Yes, he's biased in his love for Arsenal, but he's not biased in his hatred for other teams and stuff like that. There seems to be very little hate in that guy's heart, and I echo what Femi said. He should get every success he should wish for and more. He's a wonderful dude and an absolute tremendous ambassador for the club. I absolutely love. Right, he's such a good dude. I could listen to him talk for ages. Like when he's talking like about his relationship with Rocky, and the stuff he went through as a kid growing up, and his relationship with his teacher and things like that. And like even I think I brought up he was on the. You see him on the Overlap a couple of weeks ago, where he's talking about like how much he wanted to play for England and how much it meant for him and stuff like that. Mate, how can you not love Ian Wright? He's an absolute wonderful human being. Love you, Ray.
Yeah, we all do agree with that. Right, in my list of stuff that I wanted to talk about, we've done that. Mr. Femi, do you want to talk a little bit about a certain Mr. Ramsdale, or you've got no opinions on the boy? Because he made his comeback. Don't call it a comeback, as LL Cool J once called, and it isn't a comeback, is it?
Oh, I'm so bored of this topic, man. I'm just so bored of it. I really would rather not hear about this stupid goalkeeping stuff ever again. But it is a topic, isn't it? Because
it is,
because we've made it a topic, really, haven't we? He had a interesting game, to say the least. He definitely owes Declan Rice a massive drink. because if that goal had gone in, oh my goodness! Imagine the meltdown of the supporter base and the media if that goal had gone in. That was absolutely crazy. What he did. But the one thing I will say is this: I watched Liverpool versus Man City earlier in the day, and Alisson did that about 3 times in that game alone, let alone the other games that he does that. I think we do magnify it a lot because obviously we watch Arsenal a lot, but Alisson does do that a lot as well in games. Ederson not as much, but I'm sure if we watched every City game, we would probably pick out those moments as well. So unfortunately, he didn't really have a lot to do in the game. The 2 shots that kind of were on target were cleared off the line by other players. So Zinchenko cleared one and Declan Rice cleared one. He didn't actually have a save to make, so it's a bit difficult. But obviously, you're talking about the rumours that teams are trying to get him in January, and I think that would be the dumbest thing of all. There's been a lot of dumb stuff that's happened with this goalkeeper situation, but for us to let him go in January would be so stupid because, number one, we're not going to get a goalkeeper in January to replace him that's not even close to his quality or that has already played our style of football for 2 years. We don't want to be making wholesale changes in the middle of the season, and that would be a massive change to make because the second keeper is going to have to play FA Cup games. So keep him to the end of the season and just end this, whatever this is, experiment or whatever it is. Just it has to stop, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just if that was any other club, I doubt very much they'd give a damn, would they, Rich?
No, Arsenal are, clickbait champions in the sense of, anything that the journos clip up and think about it. Arsenal have a massive online presence and a vociferous online presence, so they're always going to gravitate towards stuff, and they're always going to be sensationalized stuff for clicks and likes and things like that. I thought it was a little bit pointed. Arteta's comments, like, he didn't seem to. That was the only thing that was a bit. Was when they asked him about Ramsdale, and he kind of just went there. All the players played really well, and it's a bit like, mate, you could have backed him a little bit there. He could have said something a bit more positive. But I was never the biggest fan of this change up thing, and like, this having 2 goalkeepers of equal measure. It's not like an outfield position. It's so unique and it's so unique, and you have to build up that confidence and you have to build up that match time kind of thing. It's not like outfield where you're getting tired and stuff like that. They're not as fluid as interchangeable. I agree with Femi. I think it'd be a silly idea to get rid of Ramsdale in January. Like I said, we've got cup games to play. We've got Brentford to play again. So unless we want Karl in that goal against Brentford, we're gonna have to keep Ramsdale for that at least. But like I say, it's a bit annoying in the sense of, like, and I can see what you mean. It's just boring because it's just, all it is there's one player in goal, one player not in goals, one player in form, one player not in form, one player that the goalkeeper that the manager likes and is prefers, and another player that he doesn't. It's one of those things. Like I say, if the deal can go through for next summer, if this loan deal has got that, I think we've got first refusal to purchase or an option to buy and something like that. So as long as there's no massive implications there and anything going wrong there, they'll probably buy him and sell Ramsdale in the summer, which are a little bit harsh because I feel sorry for Ramsdale because I don't think he's done anything massively wrong. Really? Not really. Like I said, yes, he's had a few rickets.
He's done a lot right.
Yeah, like most Yeah, most goalkeepers, as you said, you listed, we said about Alisson on the weekend, look, him kicking the ball straight up into the air. Ederson's been caught in possession from time to time. I think David Raya, for when he's been with us, has been caught in possession and, got out of jail quick and has done some rickets. So, I do feel a little bit harsh on Ramsdale. I would imagine, especially as he wants to play for England, I would imagine that he might force fear and move if we were to get David Raya in the summer. But I just think that Mikel Arteta prefers the things that David Raya does, that, and I don't even think so much it is that playing out from the back. I think it is one aspect of it, because I think maybe Ramsdale goes long a little bit too much. Or a little bit more than Arteta would like. I think the biggest thing, I said it a couple of weeks ago on here, is the high line that David Raya plays compared to Ramsdale. So it is what it is. It's just, unfortunately, it's gutting that, because I really liked Rambo and he's got a great relationship with the fans. I'd love to see him still succeed and stuff like that. But if Mikel Arteta prefers and chooses David Raya, and as long as he's not thrown it into his own net, I really don't see the big issue personally.
The only thing is, what I would say is, watching the full game on Saturday, I don't know if you noticed this, Danny, after the 2 or 3 crazy moments in the first half, did you notice that in the second half, we went long with nearly every single time he had the ball? And then all that kept happening was we kept going long, and obviously their 3 massive centre-backs just kept gobbling up the ball, and then they were able to counter on us. Then they were able to transition on us. And I think the reason why we went long is not because Arteta wanted to go long, but he absolutely lost trust in Ramsdale in that first half. Just from the few moments that Brentford pressed us. Because if you notice, Raya, it's not about his short distribution. It's the fact that he's so good on the ball that when you press us, he actually holds on to the ball and invites the press.
Quick decisions.
Yeah, he invites the press and then he shifts the ball quite quickly. Whereas we tried that a couple of times on Saturday and it didn't work. One almost went in the back of the net. One he threw on the ground and it could have gone anywhere. And then as soon as that happened in the second half, we just kept, every single time we went long. And I couldn't believe how much we went long in the second half. And it was really frustrating. It just meant we didn't have as much control over the game as we did in the first half. So I think that's probably a window into why he's not starting Ramsdale.
True.
Because we did see that at the end of last season as well, that we just started going long, kept going long. And everyone thought it was just like a compromise from Arteta, but I think it was just more, you know what, this guy can't do exactly what I want him to do, so I'll just get him to do something easier.
It is worrying because when he gets the ball, and it takes him 20 minutes to get into the game, and you can't have your number one goalkeeper flapping, getting the ball at his feet, and then going, taking the extra touch. You can't do that. And he got his chance, and after the last 70 minutes, he was good, but the first 20 minutes, he could have let in a couple of goals. It was catastrophe. Like that one where he decided to try and play it out from the goal, didn't know what to do, and then his first few ones, he kicked them out for a throw-in, and I was thinking, this isn't good. But he came through at the end. But that's not good enough, because teams know all you've got to do is pressurise Ramsdale for the first 10 or 15, 20 minutes, and then he is going to flap, and then there's going to be trouble. One more thing, a couple more things. Rich, Spurs lost 3 in a row. Sum them up in one word.
Shit. Yes, I don't know what else you want me to say, really.
But they were winning the league, weren't they? They were going to go invincible only a few weeks ago. Something's gone wrong. Hello, dog.
Get the DVD.
Dog called?
Get Holly. Yeah. Get the DVDs out, eh? That's what I say.
Oh, ridiculous. It's been hilarious, hasn't it? Seeing them fall apart. As soon as we were saying all this season, as soon as they're going to start playing hard teams, as long as they stop playing Luton and Sheffield United and Burnley and all that lot week in, week out, once they get a few tough games, they will fall apart.
Yeah, it's been it's been something. I actually I watched the first half of their game. I didn't bother to watch the second half, and it was just like it's like kamikaze football from both teams, really. I don't know what this new Emery ball stuff is. It's absolutely crazy. They play this crazy high line. Did you hear that stat that I think one of the podcasts gave out the other day, where they said Aston Villa have caught teams offside since Emery have been there?
No.
They've been there 130 something times, and the next team is like 80 to 90 times that they've caught. Yeah, and they've caught teams offside the most in Europe for this season as well. Like it's absolutely crazy what Emery's doing at Villa, but fair play to him, it's working. But yeah, Tottenham are just. I really want to see. They're playing City on Sunday. We've got a really big chance this week to pull away from some of these teams.
Yeah.
Because United are playing Newcastle at St James's Park Saturday evening, 8 p.m. You know that's going to be. You know what St James's Park is like on an evening game. City are playing. City are playing Tottenham, so it's a really big weekend for us, and I'm not taking that game lightly at all, because the Wolves have actually been decent this season, apart from all the crazy referee and stuff that's been happening to them.
Have Wolves lost their midfielders to suspension? Yeah, a couple of their central midfielders.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, let's go in and win on Saturday. We win and they, lose. That's a 7-point gap from a team that had pretty much won the league a couple of weeks ago. They were when they beat Liverpool. Those celebrations were amazing. I mean, people complain about our celebrations. They beat. Remember the game where they beat Sheffield United and they were all running up to the crowd doing the old hands together celebrating stuff. It's like game 4 of the season. Come on, lads.
And then we got Wolves on Saturday. We got Luton on Tuesday. That should be hopefully 6 easy points.
Well, you say that, Danny. You say that. I'm sure Luton will be an absolute struggle, and we'll probably. I mean, Liverpool just went there and dropped points as well. So I don't take any of these games lightly, to be honest with you. This league is ridiculous. Apart from a few teams in this league, I don't take any of them lightly.
Yeah. Rich, we're top of the league again. First time this season. And just looking at the league last season, at what point did we go top? Now, we went top after game number 3, and we stayed top until game number 24.
But yeah, no. So I'd rather be where we are now than swap it with any other club at the minute, I think. So yeah, long may it continue. As I said, a couple of years ago, if you would have said that, we would have been at top of the league or, challenging for titles, I would have called you crazy. So yeah, no, we're in a good position considering, like I said, we quote unquote haven't clicked yet. And, we're still, figuring things out and still waiting for the injuries to really set themselves right and get a decent run of games from some of those players. We're in a very, very good position. I think defensively we've been fairly solid. I think we're the team with the lowest expected goals against or something like that in the league.
Yep.
So yeah, we're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right. I'd rather be us than anyone else. I mean, but that means just general.
You've scared Femi away with those wise words. Where are we going to move on to now? We've got a couple of little tweets that I've gone and found. This one from Fabrizio. One more blow to the Arsenal as Mikel Arteta reveals Fabio Vieira has been to see a specialist. Quote, Vieira has undergone surgery on his groin yesterday and he will be out for weeks. Quote, we don't expect him back this side of the winter break. Is that a big problem for us? Because the lad was coming into a bit of form, wasn't he?
I wouldn't say famous was a big problem. He's not a starter kind of thing, but Arteta did seem to trust him as he used to be one of the first off the cab rank when Mikel wanted to change things. I think it's more a blow for him, to be fair, that lad just can't string kind of games or performances together. Let's say getting suspended and getting injured, and he was injured before. He signed for the club and he was injured, and it's just we've clearly a very talented lad, but we can't seem to see the best of him. I think it's more of a blow for him than I think possibly for us. When you've got the likes of in that midfield, Jorginho, Reiss, Havertz, who can play there, Odegaard, who's now coming back from his concussion and stuff like that. So I think it's more of an issue for him really than it is us. But we wish him well. We wish him a speedy recovery because, like I said, he's clearly a talented player. He's a very, very talented player. Just it needs to all click. He needs to get a run of meaningful games in the first team rather than just pop shotting around with the Europa League kind of cup second string side.
Do you think that if he was looking at his career when he signed for Arsenal, do you think he'd be looking at 18 months from now? Do you think he would have expected to be further along in the manager's choice of players than he is at the moment? If you go back and say, look, in 18 months' time, where do you think you're going to be? Do you think he'd be annoyed?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Let's say, I think if you'd shown him a crystal ball and said you signed for the Arsenal, but this is what's going to happen, he'd say, no, thank you. And, go somewhere else or stay in Lisbon. Was it Lisbon he was in?
Benfica, I think.
Benfica. Was it?
Who knows?
I know it was Sporting, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the green one, not the red one.
Yeah. He's back. He's come back from a different wing. He's gone from the east to the west wing.
He's going to give him someone a slap, saying, "Oi, sort it out. Get back on the bike, make it work." Well, it was Fem. Someone in the mansion is using the internet at the same time because he's all wobbly.
It's going getting that noise used to get back in the late 90s. I would think that the Vieira would be quite disappointed with how things have happened, and the majority of it is seemingly from his own body. Like I said, just not being able to get fit. Us having, like last season, such a team that didn't have a lot of injuries and were clicking so well. Odegaard, Jakub, just scoring tons of goals, getting loads of assists, kind of thing, when he just couldn't break into the side. So, yeah, I feel sorry for him. I really do. I do feel sorry for him.
Man City back to 2-2 now. Dortmund winning 3-1 at Milan, and Newcastle still 1-0 with 12 minutes to go. Can you hear us, Fem?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there. I got
another little bit of news. Charles Watts, friend of the pod. Well, we call him that. He ignores us. Arteta on playing Zinchenko at left 8. Quote, he does play that role coming from a different position in the attacking phase. He doesn't play there in the defensive, stable situations because we believe we have other players to use there. It is a possibility because he's done it. What does that? What's the point in even talking about that? He's never going to play the left.
Someone asked. To be fair, the last Champions League game against Sevilla, he played like the last 10 minutes. That was the first time I've seen him do it for Arsenal, but that's because we had no more players, to be fair. But it's a bit of a weird one because the left 8 actually is an attacking position for us, isn't it? So it's more like the player just gets in the box a lot, whereas he's more of a creative player, isn't he? Or more of a transition-y type. So when he plays for Ukraine, he's not really that type of player that runs. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he plays for Ukraine and he plays that position," but he's more like a dictator of the game. whereas we need that player to be constantly running forward into the box, which is why we signed Havertz to be sort of a better version of Granit Xhaka, I guess, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, right. And I've got one other stolen tweet, Rich. It is this one from Patrick Timmons. The best defence in Premier League this season. Just 10 goals conceded in 13 games. Just 28 shots on target faced in those 13 games. That comes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, doesn't it? It's boring, but it's effective. A magnificent defence that we've got at the moment. Every single player is brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and it hurts even more the fact that we lost Tomiyasu and obviously more importantly Saliba for that back end last season. That's the real what if from last season for me, because I think especially Saliba, my God, what a player. But yeah, let's say I think they're all very good, defensively, or in their own merits kind of thing, but they gel so well as a unit, and they function so well. Even if maybe Zinchenko is a little bit more frail defensively than the others, when you have that shift over and you have someone like Benny Blanco or Tomiyasu in that right position, and everyone sort of kind of shuffles over a little bit to compensate for it. But you've got that wonderful mix of the destroyer and the reader in Gabriel and Saliba. It's phenomenal. You've got the covering of Reiss, all of them. Bar Zinchenko kind of thing, but he makes up with it with his technical ability. But Ben White, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, even Kiwior and Reiss, they're all massive dudes. They're all. I know they're young, but they're men. They're big athletes, kind of thing. So, yeah, just absolutely phenomenal defensive play. I'm sure George Graham is watching us every week and absolutely loving it.
Wasn't it 17 we conceded that, or 19 the entire season?
19, yeah.
Great days. Fem, does that defence, is that a title-winning defence? Because George Graham always used to say, you sort your defence out first and then you build from there. And I think Mikel might have, I don't know if George Graham's got a book, but what do you think?
I think I think someone was saying, even last season actually, if you counted the amount of title-winning teams that didn't have the best defence, it's not a lot of them, And last season we did not have the strongest of defences. We did concede a lot of goals, especially at the end of the season, of course. But I think you shouldn't be considering looking at more than 35 goals conceded in a season if you want to be up there. I think it's easier to sort out the attacking stuff as the season goes on if we have more availability. As Rich was saying earlier, more fitness, more combinations, people playing together more. I think that will come. So yeah, no, it's been impressive. And to be fair, a lot of the chances that we do give away of those shots on target are from our errors. It's from us giving the ball to the opposition or doing something stupid or just really silly things. Or if you look at the first few games of the season, not playing Gabriel. It's just been so many things that have been of our own making, so even that can get better as well. Those individual errors that we make, it's still there. But oh my goodness me, PSG are missing so many chances. It's up to us now, to fix that attack. And I think we just got to get the numbers up on all our attacking players, and I think we'll be all right.
Good. Right, we were going to talk about January transfer targets, but we're going to save that for another show because I've gone through all the stuff we want to talk about. Femi's won the quiz. I think that's all we need to do now. I think that's it. An hour and 33 minutes. If Chris was here, we'd be barely getting into the meat of the show. I've been trying to satisfy myself on raisins, and it's not working. I need meat, and I need meat now. No one clip that because that sounds very, very dodgy. All there is to do now is say thank you very much to my two wonderful guests. Richard, you've been delightful.
Thanks for having me, Danny.
And Femi, you have been mysterious yet effervescent.
It's been good, man. It's been good.
Jolly good. Right, we will be back. I don't know if Chris wants to do a show, because his plan was do a show on a Monday or a Tuesday and then do one after the Champions League game. So we're playing tomorrow night. The game is home to Lens. That's exactly how you pronounce it. So it all depends on how flaky Chris is going to be, and I've got no idea. He was stuck on the bus wanker last time I heard from him. So before we go,
what kit do you think we're going to wear against Lens? What combination? I assume the last time we played them at home.
Orange and yellow stripes, isn't it? Oh, was that the kit with the one-off kit, the blue one we wore then?
Yeah. It was at Wembley.
I'm going to go for a black and white horizontal zebra style kit. There you go. Only ever wear it once.
Depends what their away kit is now. Maybe it was. Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. I found some of my kits. I've taken photos of them. I'm going to put them on Twitter and try and sell them to people. I found a Spanish kit signed by, I think, Fernando Torres, and an Italian kit signed by the entire team. Still with tags. Boom, they were stuffed in a box. Don't know how I got them. Anyway, before we go, find a little picture there of the one and only legendary Bob Wilson and his wife Megs, who sadly passed today. And if you're a Gooner, then Bob will have a special place in your heart, and we all feel for him today. It's very tough going through stuff like that, especially when you've been married for so long and then that partner becomes part of you. Not that I'd know, because women run away from me. And that's sad times. Right, thank you very much, everybody. We will be back. God knows when. Just be grateful that we turned up at all, really, because I didn't get out of bed till 6 o'clock. Right, here's the outro. Goodbye, and thank you very much.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid. Get down, dog. Splendid business.
He nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I was just eating a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at Iggs, so when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on them, and bosh, Bob's your uncle.